We live, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. What is going on, everybody? NGS back again, hitting y'all with, first off, a rarity, 2 videos in 1 week. Last time I've done that, who the hell knows? But not only that, we are actually doing another live Google Hangouts. This is the first time I think ever, maybe, yes, no, maybe so. I'm not sure that I've done a live review of something. Most of the time they're pre-recorded and then edited and uploaded it. Cannot speak today to save my life, but I felt like doing something special considering, I got the homie here, Rottz112. If you couldn't tell already by the title. What's going on, boy?
Man, you know what? Not much, man. It's good to be reunited here.
Hell yeah, man. If I remember correctly, the last time we were together, solo, you and I, was it Telltale Batman, one of the episodes?
Yep. Yeah. I don't know why all this time I thought we didn't finish reviewing it, but we did. We hit every episode.
Well, we did and we didn't. I every now and then I get a message from folks saying, "Yo, are you ever gonna do a final review on Telltale Batman? You finish it?" Ladies and gentlemen,
Man.
we did, but there were some complications with the recording, and I don't want to say that the footage wasn't salvageable, but it would take quite a long time in order for us to fix it. But that's besides the point. That's neither here nor there. We can probably talk about that later when I don't really want to spoil.
Got us right now.
Yes, that's the important part. I was gonna spoil something else that we got planned later, something I just started playing, but I want to save that shit for another occasion. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna be talking about The Flash season 3, something that. To be honest, man, Rob is my witness. I didn't think I'd ever watch.
Yo, let me tell you, this man straight up quit.
Rob, you want to tell him how far I got into season 3 before I quit?
I don't even remember. What was it, like 3 episodes?
I thought I got farther than that. I thought I at least got like 5 or 6 episodes in.
Man, I know at some point he just, I didn't think this video was going to happen because I didn't think he was going to watch the rest of it. So I was not expecting us to end up doing this because I thought legit, I was like, all right, he quit, and yet the comic nerd in me won't allow me to quit.
Yeah, that's a problem this man Rob has, but we can touch on that later. To be honest, as y'all know, if you've been keeping up to date with me when it comes to well, I don't want to say the CW verse, but just in general Flash, because that's really the only show I watch on there. I wasn't the biggest fan of how they handled season 2. I thought it started off pretty strong, but once you got to the second point, things sort of kind of, I guess you can say, they started to fizzle out.
Yeah, between this whole thing of jumping in and out of the main story, filler episode, it irks me when a live action show has filler. It just that gets me. And it had like 7 breaks. Season 2 had a lot of breaks, man.
Yeah, like I don't, like I said, I hadn't watched a lot of TV show. I mean, The Flash was my first foray back into watching TV shows on a regular basis in shit forever, and the constant breaks that they had in season 2. It'd go on break for a month, come back for an episode or 2, then go on break for another month, and that shit was just so ridiculous to me that it kind of tempered my overall opinions on the show. And to be honest, the way it wrapped up, I was kind of like, okay, it's not as cool as season 1, but let's see where they go with season 3. And I don't know what it was, but the first like 3 episodes that I watched did not hook me, which, for me is kind of a telltale sign, especially for ongoing shows like these. If the first couple episodes of a new season still have that, okay, we need to find ourselves and what we're doing effect, I'm probably not going to like the rest of it. I don't know if you've ever had that sort of situation before.
Yeah, I actually have. I normally take depending on the show and depending on what range of how watchable it is, I would either just flat out cut it. You have to be really bad, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I cut that out for years. for years. The only reason I even started watching it was to riff it, but so that's the only reason I even started back, to just roast them on the Ghost Rider stuff. So yeah, so I know that feeling, man. So,
Yeah, I don't know what it was, man. And that's the ironic part about it, because normally I don't have a lot of time to watch TV shows when they air. I usually just watch them after the fact, but I had an entire, like, the first half of the season I was able to watch The Flash, and I chose not to, man. Well, not even that. No, the entire season I could have watched when it aired, but I chose not to. Something in me was like, yo, this shit is about to be whack. It's gonna be trash. But something really cool that's been going on here recently is that whenever CW finishes up a season of a show, 1 week later it immediately hits Netflix, which I think just in general that's pretty fucking cool, especially for the folks out there who don't have time to watch it on TV and they don't want to like download the app and then put their information in there, and cable company, and like the issues that you go through when you're trying to watch a show that's new and hot and hip.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I actually, what I did, and this is how I've been watching all my shows as of now. I've been downloading the episodes courtesy of Netflix's download offline option and just binging them at work when I got free time. And I finished the entire 23 episode season of The Flash in about a week and a half, something like that. I know it wasn't very long.
It wasn't. It was probably shorter than that, to be honest.
Yeah, and I was just like, wow, this is rare for me. First off, because I guess going into it, what I was expecting to hate it, like, oh, okay, I can't stand this. Like, I'm gonna get so bored. But to be honest, I gotta say, overall, I was pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed aspects of season 3.
Yeah.
It was very interesting to me, and we'll get into the specifics a little bit later. But you were gonna say something?
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah, I guess the biggest problem that I had in season 2 was they kind of went for the bigger, badder effect with the villain, and it worked for the first half. But
Yeah.
once you started to figure out like what his plans were and his motives, it was just Zoom kind of lost his appeal, if that makes any sense.
Oh, it makes for you beat me to it, actually. I spent a lot of time wondering if they even knew who they was gonna make Zoom. I do not believe that they committed themselves to having Hunter Zolomon act like Jay Garrick and actually be Zoom at the same time. I don't think they committed to that. I stand firmly in my belief that for the longest time they didn't know who they were going to actually make. So,
well, to be honest, man, with how long they waited to show who he was, it's not surprising.
Yo, for real. Yo, Zoom was dope until they unmasked him. He was
right.
Bro, episode 8. I know you remember episode 8 of season 2.
Was that the back break?
Yeah, when he caught them hands, yo.
Oh shit.
Bro, that was the most lit week. That was probably the most lit week of Flash history, yeah, because there was so many memes already. My favorite one, I still remember the super wheelchair.
Oh my god.
That was like he beat the brakes. Yo, Zoom was dope. He felt like an actual monster. Then you found out he pulls the mask off and it's Jay Garrick, or who you thought was Jay Garrick.
Right. It just felt very, I don't know. I guess that combined with the regurgitation of Barry losing his powers again kind of felt like a very, very heavy retread of the first season.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like it makes you wonder if that's gonna be like a every season type thing. And plus, and this like irks the crap out of me that when they take a specific comic moment and they do the moment, but it's not in context, that bugs me so much. So, for example, when he gave his powers to Zoom and they had to give him that speed force, that jump start, basically from the Flashpoint Paradox story and movie, where they had to recreate the accident and all that, and they did it. out of context just to later on do Flashpoint, and he had his powers then. That was so
Right.
stupid. So it's like,
Uh, Hold on one sec, Rob. Keep talking. I will be back in momentarily. 2 minutes.
yeah, cool. But yeah, because I'm not gonna dive too deep into season 3 until he gets back. But I really didn't like that moment. They straight up took a concept out of its context just to do it, just because they like trying to get people geeked. Like, oh man, they recreated the accident like on Flashpoint. But then you knew you were later on going to do Flashpoint. And then you kind of messed it up because in Flashpoint now he has his. I don't know. That was a mess. Yeah. Oh man, that was episode 6. Oh okay, yeah, episode 6. I don't know why I thought it was 8, but yeah, enter Zoom. Zoom beat the brakes out of the Flash. That was one of the funniest things. Oh man, you guys would have been cracking up to see how me and NGS was talking about. Like, yo, this man just caught the hands because we both watched it live that night. So, yeah. My name is Barry Allen. I'm the fastest man on 2 wheels. Yo, man, I'm telling you, you got yo. This man Zoom punched him dead in the back, and he just went spaghetti leg, dude.
All right, I have returned. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Laundry was calling.
Yeah. I didn't jump into season 3 yet, so I just kept talking about, how they messed up an iconic moment from Flashpoint, and then, how Zoom still punching him in his back, making him go spaghetti leg. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that was the thing. Like, season 2 had a lot of hype moments, but it was everything in between those moments that kind of killed my overall appeal for it. So, yeah, going into season 3, I was very worried, especially considering the way they did Flashpoint in the because as you guys know, the way Flashpoint is done in the comics and the animated movies is, it's the same basic premise. Barry goes back in time, yada yada yada. But what happens is when he gets into this new reality, he doesn't have his powers. He's confused. He's like, what's going on? But in this reality, in this interpretation, he still has his powers. Everything is different. And he's starting to merge with this new reality. And he doesn't like that. And I mean, it's kind of, I mean, after I've seen everything in the full context, I don't necessarily mind the way they went for Flashpoint because the events of Flashpoint became an overarching thing for the entire season. But I just kind of felt like I still felt like it was kind of a waste, especially considering it was over and done with in like what, one episode?
Yeah, it was. It was literally just one episode.
Yeah. So you're
That's
just
it.
dealing with the repercussions of that afterwards.
I mean, they took Flashpoint. They took man. They started to sound like they older brothers and Warner Brothers. Yeah. They took the Flashpoint paradox and they made it into one episode, which made it into their new plot generator, which is a new term I made for the Flash. If you notice their whole formula, I mean, do you want to get into it now?
I mean, yeah, might as well. I mean, we're on the topic.
Yeah, all right. So yeah, came up with this term called the plot generator with the Flash, being that they basically take season 1. What was all your villains in season 1? They were all other meta humans, other people that was hit by the particle accelerator, and there you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically sets up all your episodes. Every other villain is somebody, which is kind of goofy now that I think about it. It's like no matter whatever you were doing before the particle accelerator hit you, made it your superpower somehow.
Right.
like
That.
like, but here's the logic in that. But Barry wasn't running when he got hit by the. But you know what? I'm not even gonna question it.
Yeah, at this point, bro, like I said, remember when you were saying how they didn't think that far ahead? I don't think they envisioned that when they did the backdoor pilot episode of Arrow, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So season one, your villains were metahumans, other people that get hit by the particle accelerator. Pretty simple, Right?
Yeah.
Season two comes. Now you got, Jay Garrett, quote unquote Jay Garrett, and Zoom coming from another Earth. And all your villains in this one is Zoom dropping villains from Earth 2 on Earth 1. That's your plot generator now. That's your week to week villain generator. And you jump in and out of who is Zoom, because another thing you have to do is you have to have a mystery. Who is the new evil speedster?
Mm-hmm.
Literally 3 seasons in a row of doing that.
Oh God.
So and then basically not spend too much time on it. Um, season 3 now is everyone that had some kind of power in Flashpoint. Alchemy is awakening their power, and that was your week to week villains for season 3.
Yep.
It's a plot generator. It's an automatic generator to where they plug it in and it just starts shooting out plot.
Yo, and somehow it ties into the main somehow, like I said, somehow I'm using that term very loosely. Somehow it ties into the main plot of the season. And that was, I think, one of the weakest points in every season after the first. And yeah, even including the first, you feel like there is an automated plot generator. It doesn't feel natural. Like, remember how when we were watching in the beginning, it was just new metahuman, new metahuman, new metahuman. Oh, which metahuman is going to be here for one episode and then come back after the mid-season break? It got really irritating, because we got to find a clever way to stop them. Oh, they can't find a clever way to stop them. Well, let's see if there's there's an ass pull right there because Caitlin has powers and she can rescue Barry. And then, wait a minute, Jesse Quick comes back out of nowhere. And wait a minute, Cisco. Oh, wait a minute. It's just, bruh, how many fucking times are we gonna do this shit?
Yo, for real, man. Like, you can tell that they literally just jump back and forth, because if I remember correctly, in the season 2, I think Wally got hit with the secondary particle accelerator just like Jesse did, but he didn't have any powers. So yet they had to create a whole nother reason for him to get powers. I'm like, y'all just can't commit to anything, can you?
Nope.
But yeah,
yeah.
But I kind of
we're in sync on that shit.
yeah, for real. Yeah, just going in. But yeah, so that's the turn we ended up making for this, is their plot generator. And now I can't unsee it if I see them try to do it again.
I think going forward in season 4, someone actually brought up this comment. It's going to be metahumans from the Speed Force Storm. Don't even, no, please, no.
Best believe one of them is going to be Godspeed. Watch.
Shit.
Because there was literally scenes of people getting like struck by the multi, and eventually they're going to run out of color of lightning, and that's going to get kind of goofy as well.
Man, it's just so weird because the Flash, its tones, I love its tones and its humor and how it balances everything, but it's still got like that old school Smallville cheese to it with the freaking plot generator and all that shit.
Smallville was fucking Smallville. This man knows how I feel about Smallville. Yeah, I got PTSD from that, man.
I don't know how that show lasted as long as it did.
They invented the plot generator. It was just excuse every season, but that's
literally. So going forward into the third season, I do gotta say, I mean, well, we just pointed out one negative. Let's talk about one positive aspect, and I think this is the overall best part of the season, and I think the show in general. Like, these characters are fucking awesome, man.
Oh yeah. They're a blast to see. It's like you actually like watching it. Like it's like they make it tolerable to watch the non-superhero part.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's actually pretty cool to keep you connected like that. So it's like, the added bonus is that it's a superhero show. So,
Yeah, one of the main things that I always come back to is how much I actually got to like the character of Iris, because anybody knows this about me. Season 1 review, season 2 review, I could not stand Iris West. I thought she was just a
this dude hated
typical.
Iris
Oh,
guts.
and I know a lot of y'all are gonna say, "How you gonna hate a beautiful black woman, Chris?" Yo, she was fucking annoying CW trope Iris, and I just couldn't stand her and the forced romance between her and Barry. I mean, it's still here, the forced romance, but to be honest, they did a better job of making Iris somewhat of a more likable character. So I will give them that. And everyone in general is great, man. I really like these guys. I like the humor, I like the chemistry, uh, the writing. I mean, everyone's just coming into their own, and it's
Yeah,
just it makes watching the show, as Rob said, much more tolerable than something like Arrow. You know?
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's so, and that's good. Thumbs up for them. But it's like at the same time, it's that 50-50 deal. It's like, yeah, you got good drama, and good drama not always having to be relationship things,
Right.
but like it's also a superhero show. You also have like a whole other demographic that you got to feed to you, and they had a good balance at it at first. Well, it wasn't even a perfect balance in season 1, like you said. You couldn't stand Iris back then.
Yeah.
and, and she done put her backpedaling shoes on. She said one line. She said one line this season that I just always shake my head at, when she's talking about when they were kids and she first consoled him when he first
Oh
started
God,
crying.
that was that.
And she talking about that was the moment they fell in love. I was like, oh, so what was all that with Eddie then? And all that shit.
Doesn't exist. It's not in the moment.
Like, yo, for real, I'm like, man, backpedaling shoes, man. Like,
That shit. I mean, like I said, that's the typical CW drama. So even if it's a great fucking show, they gonna have that bullshit.
yeah, exactly. So once again, this show just continues to just jump all over the place with the little things. Stay woke, man. Stay woke, you.
Speaking of jumping all over the place, this is kind of like a double-edged sword. The fact that the characters are so good, because at the same time, and you'll understand what I'm talking about when I bring this up, when you actually get into the main plot of the season, which this is so funny about the season. The main plot of the season, there's really not that much going on.
Mm, honestly, no, not
There's
really.
there's one particular thing happening, and it involves the villain. And guys, in order to do this season justice, we are gonna have to get into some spoilers. So keep
Oh,
that in mind.
you are reviewing the season, yeah.
Yeah, like we can't say all we have to say on it, because I don't think, like, we'll come off as very generic. So we have to spoil stuff about it. I apologize for this in advance, but you know what you're getting into about half an hour into this fucking stream. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the main antagonist of the villain, main antagonist of the season, his motivations, why he exists. Let's discuss Savitar.
I know, right? Like they straight pulled a Mortal Kombat move. You thought Alchemy was the antagonist at
Right.
first, and then you find out nope, he's serving a bigger. I swear to you, man, it's almost like they purposely teased you. Like y'all thought there wasn't gonna be a speedster to this time. Y'all thought, and then remember the night we first saw him, and he came out looking like Megatron.
Bro, I couldn't stand his design at first, but I will say this: like when he steps on the scene, yo, that shit was terrifying.
Yo, yeah, for real.
I was
I
like, yo,
remember,
where the fuck this dude come from?
I remember that first whooping he gave Barry. He like kept taking him to different parts of the world or different parts of Central City.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he did it, but he kept taking him different places and bashing them on the ground.
Well, prove he whooped your ass in every area code of the city.
It's almost like he needed to showcase his speed, like basically, yeah, like I could whoop you on every corner of the city, you know. And I will definitely say he looked a lot better when they had the money to get the practical suit as opposed to him being all CG.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
When they switched over, you started seeing the practical effects suit a lot better.
Definitely. Yeah. I wasn't feeling it, but after a while, as most things do, he does kind of grow on you. And therein lies the problem with Savitar because, okay, so this is where things are going to start to get confusing. Savitar's whole purpose in this entire season, his whole reason for existing, he says, obviously, it comes off as, oh, I will take over the world, blah, blah, blah. But his main reason is to make Barry suffer. And by making Barry suffer, he means killing Iris because Barry goes forward in time by some strange. How did he do it the first time? He was trying to throw the box, right?
Yeah,
This philosopher's stone.
Yeah, he tried to throw the Philosopher's Stone away, and then there was an explosion, and it knocked him out of the Speed Force into the future.
Right. And then he saw the death of Iris by Savitar, and that's the whole point of the season. The whole point of the season is trying to find a way to prevent that reality from happening. And every single episode, the gang is trying to find ways to change the future. I'm sorry?
You just made me think of something. Yeah, so season 3 had 2 different plot generators. The first one, alchemy, and all the people from Flashpoint awakening their powers and all that. And then literally the second plot generator was, now we got to prevent the future. I even think he added that into the opener.
So yeah, he did. Yeah.
So from that point on, after he saw that, their goal now was they literally memorized everything about that day. I was like, okay, if we change everything, we could try to get the future back in our hands. Yeah, I remember that. So they had 2 different plot generators this season.
Well, there you go. And that's my biggest problem with it because I don't know what it is about this whole plot of saving Iris, trying to change the future, and them failing at every attempt. But I feel like throughout all the situations, all the great character development that these guys go through, it's thrown to the wayside, and they make such stupid decisions when they're getting stuff done with the main story, like things involving Savitar and all this stuff. Like here's my biggest problem: you go through an episode where everyone would be doubting themselves. Oh, can we do this? Can we really stop Savitar? Can we save Iris? Then something happens, and then they all come together as a unit. They're like, we can do this. We can change the future. Then they get to a main plot episode. Shit gets fucked up. Then they're feeling doubtful again. And it's like the same rinse and repeat every 3 episodes. And God, man, like, it got annoying as fuck, man.
I didn't even realize that until you just threw it in my face like that. They really was. They was like, man, can we do this? And then somebody got to have, I think they all took turns. I literally feel everybody took turns giving some kind of encouraging Braveheart speech. Only Savitar again and get whooped and then be back to square one. Well, we didn't get him this time, but we're going to get the future back. Don't worry. We ain't going to stop you. I was like, they literally did. I did not think about it like that until you just broke it down.
Bro, I'm telling you, maybe it was because I was watching this in such a rapid succession. I was watching like 1 to 2 episodes a day at work. And it dawned on me the more I was watching it, everything felt so samey. I'm like, wait, didn't we just go through this? No, wait, we did go through this shit. No, wait, no. Yes, no, yes. I was second guessing myself because then part of me was like, you know what? The gravity of the situation, it can be very, very heavy on a person's soul. So of course they might say we can do this and then have second doubts, maybe third doubts, who knows? But it got to the point where I'm just like, oh, come the fuck on, you guys.
Yeah, I can't believe that. So yeah, a big chunk of this season was them just a dog chasing his tail. Like I mean, I dare say it started to get to the point of, man, we kind of did jump over that. Kid Flash, Wally West get
Yeah,
his
well,
powers,
yeah,
and literally, Barry was so remember that whole thing he went through. Of course, you remember the whole
yeah.
thing he went through of trying to have
Save
Wally
Iris.
be the one. Yeah, just because he in his mind he think if we can change that scene, the future could be ours again. And
Mm-hmm.
so they were literally trying to make Wally, you know, a bigger batter effect with it. They already trying to say that he's faster than Barry when he first got his powers. I don't know how that's supposed to work, but okay. Like, I mean, whatever. But
It was a stronger particle accelerator.
yeah, there you go. There you go. But yeah, apparently Savitar and Alchemy, they're like Apocalypse. They can increase your power.
Oh, stop! I'm having
They can increase your
flashbacks to
power.
that shit, man.
Yeah, but so they had this whole thing of just like making Barry just seem so stupid because he's just obsessed. There's always either a new obsession or a new lie with these CW shows. It's always one or the other. It's either somebody obsessing over something and it hurts their character, or there's always some new lie that they have to hold from someone for their own good, quote unquote.
Oh, someone brought it up in the comment section right here. You sum it up in one comment. I'm going to throw myself in front of a car because I want powers. Bruh.
Yo, let me tell you all this. I do not like this way. It has nothing to do with the actor. I do not like this Wally. He's so stereotypical. He's such the generic
Mm-hmm.
trope
Yup.
down to down to the little. If I don't tell you the name and tell you so and so plays a young black male who's trying to make ends meet for a sick mother by drag racing, how many movies pop up in your head?
15.
And he's drag racing and he didn't know about his father Joe, and then he tries to meet and bond with Joe because his mother's dying, and his mother finally does die, and then it's the awkward living arrangement. And then, the first fight they get into, what does he say? Stop trying to be my dad and all that. And I
Oh,
was like,
God.
this is literally almost every type of story does this exact same formula. And then they decided, let's go ahead when they did the Flashpoint thing, because literally the Flashpoint thing, those aren't the same people Barry knew.
Yeah.
He had to literally get to know them again.
Yeah, he fucked up royally. That's the whole theme of Flash season 3. Barry fucked shit up.
Exactly. Yeah, he did. So he had to actually. So in a way, technically, you could say, yeah, they're the
This
same
is
characters, but they're not.
it's kind of like a soft reboot in some ways because the characters act different. I mean, for the most part, they're same-ish, but there are some differences. Obviously, in Flashpoint does affect how certain characters survive certain events, whether they have a particular whatever the gender of their child was, because apparently alternate realities you have a girl instead of a boy just because it's an alternate reality or
Yeah,
something like
just
that.
yeah, because that ripple effect from changing time changes every. Even though the world almost ended in the actual Flashpoint paradox, what
Yeah.
the ripple ain't that big.
Yeah, so it was, and I don't know this. Since you keep up to date with all the other shows, how much of an effect did Flashpoint have on like Legends and Arrow and Supergirl?
So it had no effect on Supergirl because they confirmed she's on a different Earth. I forgot what
Oh,
they
okay.
numbered. I forgot what they numbered it, but yeah, she's on a completely different Earth. Uh, Arrow, yeah, John Diggle, Oliver's best friend, yeah, he has they just swapped the gender of his child, so now he has a boy, he had a girl. Uh, Legends, they operate outside of time, so the effect wouldn't they wouldn't have known about it anyway.
Oh,
So
okay.
so how they operate, they're outside of time anyways. But something does come up about it. But since you're watching, I'll let you find that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so honestly, it's very self-contained because in all actuality, Barry only told Felicity about it. If he wouldn't have told her about it, the rest of them they wouldn't have known. They wouldn't have known that Barry did all this. They thought their life was normal. That's why Diggle was so surprised when he was like, "You trying to tell me you erased the child out of my life?"
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, that does make a lot of sense. They wouldn't have known. Yeah. True.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it had no effect. It could have been a big multi-show event, but why do that though? let's have a musical with the Music Meister.
Yeah, because everything makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Well, someone spoiled what happens in Legends for me as far as Flashpoint goes. Okay. Oh boy. But yeah, so it kind of, I don't know, like, again, going back to the whole Flashpoint thing and Savitar and just this whole concept of regurgitation, like, with Savitar and the main plot of the season and how it affects the characters and how everybody just gets like progressively stupider and stupider. Like, it just, the more time they spent dealing with the plot of the show, the less I liked it. The more time they spent doing other shit, including the musical, which was actually one of my favorite episodes of the season, I enjoyed the series a lot more.
Oh, you actually like the musical episode?
I did, just because, like, bro, I was at that point because the musical was like 18, I think, 18 or 19. I was at that point where I was getting so fed up with the same shit over and over again. Like, come on, let's get going. That when that shit happened, I was like, oh,
So
this is
when that
nice.
happened, yeah, I could get it from that standpoint.
Yeah. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it was kind of pointless, but it's always nice seeing Melissa up in this shit because she's beautiful, man. She's like the best person.
She is absolutely gorgeous. You're right.
Oh, that shit was dope.
And you did what? Did you watch all 4 of the parts with the whole Dominators thing?
No, I only watched the Flash one because here's the thing. I'm gonna watch Legends. Well, for some people who don't know, I just started Legends tomorrow. I think I'm on episode 6 or 7. I know I'm gonna get to that episode because Legends has it too. Supergirl and Arrow, I'll probably just watch those individual episodes just to see, but
you don't. I'm gonna tell you right now, you don't need to watch the Supergirl one.
I noticed because the Flash one seemed like it contained a lot of stuff, like the main meat of the story.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'll go ahead and save you the time. The Supergirl one for the Dominator story is just 45 minutes of the whole Supergirl episode, and the last 15 is when Barry pops in her house.
That sounds about right.
And then they had to do the whole thing. She's like, "What's the problem?" He's like, "I need your help." And then it goes off, and it's like, "See what happens tomorrow on the Flash."
Oh gosh! So literally the last 15 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have to watch that one, but you already seen the Flash one, and then the Arrow one and the Legends one. The Legends one is lit, straight.
I can't wait, like, cause everyone's hyping up Legends of Tomorrow season 2. I'm actually, y'all better not let me fucking down, cause y'all over here saying the Arrow was lit. I watched that shit out. I fell asleep like 4 times. Y'all best not be bullshitting. People in the comments, like, is it actually good? Or are you just saying it's good by CW Arrow standards? Don't be bullshitting me here.
Wait. They talking about what you mean, Arrow or Legends or something?
No. Because they're saying Legends season 2 is lit. I'm just saying, is it actually good, or is it good by CW Arrow standards? Like, don't bullshit me.
I would actually say that Legends ended up taking. Definitely.
Oh, those are mighty big words, bro.
It's like it's only because it if you think about it, Legends is kind of an absurd concept. It's like you got a bunch of these ragtag characters who's never been. I think they literally made this team up for the sake of this show because they didn't want to fire nobody. They in good
True.
places with all these actors,
They had to get
and
Wentworth Miller back.
for real, and it's like it's so absurd. But I think it's the fact that when you start to just eh, embrace that they embraced how absurd it is, start making this work, you kind of be like, oh, okay, I'm kind of it's just like for lack of a better example, One Punch Man is ridiculous. It's like
Yes.
it's literally a guy who kills anything with one punch, and yet there's like how you season one, there's 12 episodes of it, yeah. And you watch it because you embrace that. Okay,
Okay.
they're not hiding it from you; they embracing that it's absurd as well. Yeah. So that's kind of how it is with Legends.
Hmm. Alrighty. Okay. I'll buy. I'll buy. But back on point
Yeah,
to we lost our
yeah,
entire train of thought on this shit. We were talking. You were talking about how Wally. You're talking about Wally. You were ranting on Wally.
yeah. I just do not like how stereotypically urban Wally is, and then after the whole Flashpoint thing, he just been a good boy now. Like he lost all that edge. It's like this the new Wally. This the he act like he was never missing out of Joe's life all this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's a complete idiot. Actually going to alchemy because he wanted to be a speedster. So that, like
Mm-hmm.
somebody put in the comments, he tried to get hit by a car trying to make his powers awaken, and it's so goofy, and it's like, I think it really gets me because it's so obvious. I knew they were gonna go through this whole process of his powers gonna finally wake up. Joe's gonna be paranoid because he already has one son doing all this craziness. And then they're gonna tell Wally, sit in the back, bro, because Barry has the experience, which he does.
Mm-hmm.
Right, they lying. Barry does have the experience. And then it was gonna get to the point of Wally gonna get mad because y'all wouldn't let him help. And then when y'all finally cave, you're gonna give him his suit, and it all happened exactly like that.
Yeah.
So it's like I just do not like him, man. And it becomes more of a problem when we get towards finally finishing off the season. You want to finally get into the Savitar reveal. Did we touch everything
Yeah.
around it
Yeah.
already?
Yeah. For the most part, I mean, there was something I wanted to mention regarding alchemy, but we can save that for later when we're talking about like individual characters and stuff.
All right.
But and people were not ignoring the comments. I see a lot of the questions y'all are asking. We are going to get into those later, but we do want to tackle Savitar. Oh boy. Okay. I, okay. I'll say this. I will say this. The way they tease him in the season, they tell you who the character is, who's behind the fucking mask, who's in the suit, in such a way that you would miss it if you did not notice it. And I'm talking like you got to break this shit down. So early on, Savitar gets into the habit of saying this particular phrase every time he's talking to Barry. And I think you hear it one time when because Julian, who's the guest character on the show, played by Tom Felton, who actually is Alchemy, he still has a connection to Savitar. So they try to like, I guess, reboot this connection, and in doing that, Savitar is able to speak through Julian. And he says a particular phrase, like, he's always like, "Oh, you'll never be able to defeat me, Flash," and of this, that, and the third. But he says this one phrase, "I am the future Flash." And hearing this at first, you're thinking, "Oh, because he's the god of speed, he rules the future. He is the future for all speedsters." But that's not exactly what he meant. Rob, you want to tell him what he meant?
It was literal. Everybody trying to analyze it and trying to go, just like how me and you probably thought, because how many villains always say that? I am the
Yep.
future, insert superhero name.
Yep. Yep.
So many people said it. So, but no, it was literal. It was Vegas. I am the future Flash, not I am the future comma Flash. Like, and you see, and that's one thing where it's like me, I'm like a mild react watcher, so I watch people react to the episode, at least to certain parts, certain episodes, and I've seen other people arguing like, is it I am the future, comma Flash, or is it I am the future Flash? And it was I am the future Flash. So therefore, Savitar literally is Barry from the future.
And this is where I started to check out for the season, because it literally, like, the threat, the mystery, the intrigue, everything survive, like, just involving Savitar. For me, this is when shit just got dumb. I was like, really? Oh, are they going to do the Yep, they did the stereotypical thing. So why exactly? Like, okay, because literally when they started saying stuff about time remnants and the battle with Zoom, that's where I just checked out.
Yo, so what you want me to give you a crash course on the whole time remnant thing?
Yes, please, because this shit.
All right, so and this is how the show explained it. It's kind of goofy in the long run, but this is literally what happens. Zoom abused time remnants. So let's say I'm going to use you for an example. Let's say you had the powers of the Flash, right? How you get a time remnant is if you go back in time like an hour and get that you right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's literally it. So if you need, so let's say you needed like 5 U's and you kept going back like every hour getting the U from that hour, and you got a squad of U's bringing them all right now. So that's what Zoom would do. That's what he apparently did with the whole. That's how you could be Jay Garrick and Zoom at the same time. That's why I think they really didn't know how they were going to do that. So to apply that to season 3, when Barry went to the future and saw his future self, or his Dark Knight Returns version of himself, uh, he said one of his desperate moves, he tried to use time remnants to fight Savitar, and Savitar killed all of them because they all are Barrys. They've just taken them from their point in time. They all are. Now, the thing is, and this, I'm just gonna go ahead and run it into how Savitar came to be, or at least how they explain it, is that Savitar didn't kill all of the time remnants. He left one alive, and one was badly wounded. He had like a little mild Freddy Krueger thing going on the side of his face.
Sir, he had his Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3 thing going on. Excuse me.
Yeah, exactly. Now this is the thing that I don't know. I don't know the detail about this exactly, but I don't know where that future Barry, where is his Savitar? It's like, did you destroy him? Because the one is the one that's the problem now. All right, so I don't know what happened to that Savitar, though, the one that supposedly started all this. I don't know whether they finally killed him or what. They never explained it.
Because they made it seem like this was a never-ending cycle. That's the vibe that I got, anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was their way of not having to explain. It's like
Cop out.
The comparison is like to the whole Black
chicken
Goku,
and the. I thought it was chicken and the egg thing, but yeah,
that too. But it's like the most recent thing. People had the same argument with Black Goku. They didn't know how did he get there. What was the beginning point? What came first? But yeah, they didn't even bother to explain. Cisco flat out said it's an infinite loop. It just keeps feeding into itself. I'm like, well, not until you explain how the first Savitar started all this, because I don't know, that's confusing. But yeah,
it's like so it's so confusing, because I'm thinking to myself, all right, so if he does this and that time remnant's there, but it's not this. Did you get into the reason why his whole motivation?
Say it again.
Did you get into his motivation yet?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can go whatever you were saying, and then you can get to the motivation. I just want to make sure you didn't skip over that, because that's when I freaked the fuck out.
Oh yeah. So basically, because I'm about to run right into that. So Avatar didn't kill all of the time remnants. And for some reason, Future Barry lied to Barry about that, or he just neglected to tell him. Period. Yeah. And anyway, the time remnant that lived was disfigured, and I don't know why they never specified why he couldn't go back to his specific time, but apparently he tried to stay with the Team Flash somehow, and he flat out said that they pushed him aside. They rejected him. And, they didn't look at him as a human being. They looked at him as simply the time remnant, which is kind of messed up because, he agreed to help him. He left his point in time anyway. And this is where things get a little muggy. That's literally it. This is like Brody. This is like Broly level petty.
Yeah.
Like, so because
That is a perfect comparison.
This is like Broly level petty. So because I don't even know how it got this far. So because they all rejected him, and because his face is messed up and all that, he just got so pissed that he time traveled, because he still has his powers too. He time travels all the way to the past to create the myth of Savitar. I don't. And he goes through the years being Savitar, building up to the moment where he knows he has to make sure he comes to be by corrupting the Barry from our show.
It's so
it
stupid.
almost makes your brain fry. So it's like, so he ran all the way to the past to create this whole image of Savitar. And why exactly he would choose to be Savitar when Savitar messed his face up, they probably don't even know. But whatever. So yeah, that's literally his motivation. That is literally all they gave us.
Got no flashbacks, got no proper reveals. Nah, he's just lonely.
Exactly. He just lonely. They cast him away and his face messed up. So that's all he needed. That's all he needed.
Oh God.
So yeah, so basically the whole thing of trying to break Barry was to make sure that he comes to be, because he needs to make sure that at this point in time, Barry needs to become Savitar, because he has to be alive. He has to have his point of being, you know. So time travel is a trip. It really is.
Yeah, that's why not many folks can do it right. And I think
Yeah.
to me, this is one of the biggest detractions I have for the season. It just got to the point where I'm just like, okay, so not only is this not a developed character, but you're also adding this time travel bullshit. It's so unnecessary. They could have just gone with something nice, traditional, but no, they gotta add in this time travel shit, and they had to make it 4-dimensional because it's Barry, and then there's the conflict of, well, at least they didn't go through the cliche, can we really kill Barry sort of thing. They recognize that this dude was a threat, and they will treat him as such. Wait, no, that's a lie. Because, well, I mean, it's a lie, but it isn't. Because they had no qualms with taking down someone who had Barry's face, but Flash having to go against his rule of not killing. That was something that was a very something they focused on in the latter parts, and it. Oh my God! Someone just said, "Wait, so he's Kessler from Infamous?" Oh shit!
Yo, he is. He is. He really is.
Bruh,
Yo,
bruh,
he's Kessler, Joe.
dude! Oh my God!
Yo,
Holy shit!
and
All right,
I was about
Hollow
to say,
Man, yo, shout out to Hollow Man for that A+ comparison right there.
yo, like this man is straight up. He's basically, yeah. And I remember when he so, and it's also a little thing we kind of skipped over is this overall feeling that they could never, and this probably adds and goes hand in hand to what you were talking about, how they hyped themselves up to try to take down Savitar, but he was always a step ahead of them
Mm-hmm.
because he is a future Barry. Everything that they do is a memory to him, so he literally knew everything they were doing.
Right.
So now, There you go. There's your mini plot generator.
Oh
Is how do we
god.
make a plan? I'm getting tired of saying this phrase, but it's this is what they do though. So now the mini plot generator is how can we make a plan without Barry knowing? Because if Barry knows, Savitar is gonna know.
Man, that shit.
So
Oh god.
this is when it started just to become a complete mess. And I was just so underwhelmed by the fact. I hated that it was the most obvious choice for who was Savitar. Everybody kept saying it was Future Barrier. And I'm like, no, Savitar. See, this is the thing. In the comics, Savitar is Savitar. Future Barry is the Blue Flash. Those are two separate characters. Yet they fused them in this season. And why did they fuse them in this season? Because they needed to play a new game of who's the evil speedster. That's the only reason they did this, just because they wasn't gonna have somebody called the Blue Flash. Because unfortunately, a Flash zipping around with blue electricity, you already did already. So you blew that load already. And I'm like, so that's literally like in the I think it's called Out of Time. That's what it's called. Where the Future Barry comes to and he starts trying to kill off his villains to correct his mistakes. And honestly, that sounds more appealing of a season than what we got.
Yeah.
But long story short, they fused two characters together. Two characters that could do good and like completely separate. See, not back to back because you got to give the speeds and stuff a break. But at some point, they could have been good. Like, I think, man, me and you talked about before how Savitar has the power to make somebody a speedster. But you know how terrifying it would have been if he'd made like a cult of like 12 speedsters and they just start killing people. That would have been a crazy episode.
A massive, bro. That would have been like a crazy mid-season finale, like just a massacre of people. Oh my god.
Yo, and then you could have your lit moment of having the Flash, Kid Flash, Jesse Quick, Jay Garrick, them having to squad up to fight Savitar and his cult. Yo, that would have been so hyped right there.
Would have been incredible, bro.
But nope, they had to play their game of who's the speedster. So they fused the Future Flash, the Blue Flash for short, with Savitar, and then this is what we got now. And then they didn't even do it that good, to be honest, man. And I'm up here ranting. I lost my train of thought.
No, not at all, man. I mean, just it's like I noticed this with season 1 and season 2. And I think we said it best early on when we were talking about when season 2 had its decline. They're blowing their load and trying to merge so much stuff from the comics instead of pacing themselves out to create stories that have longevity. Because the reason why they got to keep doing this who's behind the mask speedsters, because they keep throwing so much shit in your face that once they get to a new season, they don't have anything to work off of. So they got to do some crazy shit like Flashpoint. And then, it gave Wally his powers. And like, there's so much stuff that happened in season 3 that you're like, whoa, that could have been saved. Like Wally didn't need to. It would have been awesome if Wally got his powers like at the end of season 3. That would have been cool because you got to know him in season 2. You got to experience him in season 3. And if he got his powers at the end, that'd be like, oh shit, Kid Flash season 4, let's go. But it's like, nah.
Let's make him Kid Flash the very same season we have Barry take his infamous leave, and we'll get more into detail in a moment.
Yeah,
but yeah, the overall reveal, his motivation, and from this point on, it just became a race. So literally, the story at this point became a race of the night Iris dies.
Oh shit! Yeah,
that's literally it. They were counting down to that moment, and then you finally get to that moment and you find out that, ironically, that no matter what you do, sometimes things tend to repeat itself until there was the whole plot twist of
that was pretty dope. I ain't going front. Like I was like,
yo, that was good. It was good, because They had me fooled at episode 22 where they did the whole
Mm-hmm.
montage. They did the montage of he running in slow motion and stuff. I was like, man, is this it? This seems pretty final.
They like, boy, they about to do it, and I was. Now, did they show what happened afterwards in that episode, or you had to wait till 23?
Yeah, you have to wait to 23 to get 22 ends with, and this is without watching 2023. 22 ends with Iris getting stabbed. Like that's all they leave you with, and him holding her, and it ends you. So 23, you will come watching after a week of torment, just wondering like, man, what's about to happen? You know. Then you find out it wasn't even her. It was what they call them, HR. Yeah, HR.
First off, shout outs to this man, Tom Cavanagh. And to be honest, I'm gonna give him props. They found a way to make this man relevant for 3 seasons. He went from the villain to the ally to the goofball, and it actually makes sense, man. That shit, yo, this man's a fucking great actor.
That man stay working. I even think yeah, there was an episode where Barry went to the past. He went back to season 1. And Kavanaugh got to be Eobard Thorne for one more time in that episode.
Oh man.
Man, they gonna keep that man working. He always got to check.
I don't. Yo, yeah. And because at the end of this season, Wells comes back, so
yeah,
it's
Harry,
Harry,
right? So
yeah, yeah, because that's the
I like how they know to play off the nicknames.
Yep, you got Harrison Wells, Harry, and then you got HR. But the big reveal, and this actually goes back a little bit to something that happened throughout the entire season, and I think this is like a great, albeit kind of stereotypical thing, but it's the whole plot of, I guess you can say, redemption, because the character of HR, he's had a lot to live up to, because not only did he have the face of Harrison Wells, who was their biggest antagonist, but he pales in comparison to Harry, who was, the guy who was helping Team Flash all throughout season 2, and he really brought a lot out of the characters. So this guy, HR, is just someone completely different because he's from a different Earth. He's not this genius. He's a kind of a goofball, a prankster. He's the comedic relief, and he's honestly a really good character. Like I really loved him. He brought a lot of life to the season. But for a while, like literally at every opportunity they get, they always try to dump on him because he doesn't know shit. And unfortunately, he kind of sets into motion the last 10% of Savitar's plan to find Iris, because originally what they had done is they were going to hide Iris on a different Earth. They were going to hide her with Harry and Joe. That way Iris wouldn't, Savitar wouldn't be able to get to her because Barry wouldn't know where they hid Iris. But Savitar did this slick shit. I didn't catch this the first time. I kind of had to catch it when I watched it the second time, because I guess I wasn't looking at the screen. But after they completed this mission, Barry comes back to the base as usual, and they're like, yeah, we did it. And then he's like, oh man, yeah, so where's Iris? And then HR is like, oh, she's just safe right over there on good old Earth 2. And then Barry turns around and you see that it's Savitar, and then the music starts playing, it gets ominous, and then he goes and finds her. I thought that shit was kind of crazy, because at first, here's what I thought it was, because I wasn't paying attention. At first, I thought it was just this, like, I don't know, Barry just had a slip of the tongue. Like, he's like, yeah, so where's Iris? And then, like old times, yeah, she's on Earth too. And then the reason why they were all like, oh shit, was because if Barry knows, then Savitar knows. But it was actually even better. This man, Savitar, anticipated that shit.
Yo, for real. So they shouldn't have said. I mean, either way, it was gonna be bad that they said it, but that just made it work. That was like a good little shock right there. Plus, I got to give them credit for how they shot it, because if you remember, they took one clip of when the actual Barry ran away from that crime scene and then spliced it in with Savitar into the building. So all you saw was an orange streak go up this street. Next scene, orange streak fly in the Star Labs. You thought you think it's the same shot. You think it's the same streak and all. It wasn't though.
That shit was dope, dude. Like I saw that shit, and then just the collective look on everyone's face, and HR was like, "No," and oh man, that was a great fucking scene. I got to give it to them on that. But the reason why I bring this
They
up,
shot,
I'm sorry.
no, I'm just saying, yeah, they shot that well though.
The reason I bring this up is because HR is tired of always being the one who doesn't have much to contribute. So he concocts a plan to first off find Iris in Savitar's lair, and with this one piece of technology they have, you can actually make your appearance look like that of another. So as you can surmise, he switches places with Iris. And as far as you know, it's still Iris and everything in that scene. Nobody knows except for Iris and HR. And then, of course, the scene happens. Savitar impales Iris, what we think, but it's actually HR because you see the
Yeah.
drumsticks drop. And yo, I ain't gonna front. My heart kind of sank when I saw the drumsticks because I knew immediately. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, man. Like, and then she just randomly said BA, because that's what HR always called them. And like,
Yeah,
oh, that was messed up, man. Like,
that shit fucked
so
me up, man.
exactly. So they did that. It was a nice clutch move. So in a way, they ended up taking the future back, and they had to do it. Obviously, they had to do it without Barry knowing. Yeah. So they took the future back. Iris is alive. They broke that whole thing. Now, this was my question watching the season finale. I was like, okay, so in any minute now, Savitar's gonna remember that Iris is alive. I'm like, why didn't he just kill her? Like, why didn't he just run to where they was at, guns blazing, here, and just kill her again? Bruh, like you would, if especially if you start getting desperate, yo. Like I would, you know what? If I was Savitar and that was my plan, and they tricked me like that, aside from doing the classic Looney Tunes thing where your head turned to a donkey because you feel like a jackass, I would have got in that suit, ran where they were, and be like, y'all thought, and would have head stabbed anyway.
Yo, he should have just stabbed her and then disappeared again. I would cry. That'd be so funny.
Yep, it's like nothing stopped him. It's like, see, but once again, there's the strength of the seat, man. Yo, they need. I don't know. They gotta rearrange their staff because they can't commit to an idea
Nope.
because literally, right when he remembered that she was alive, he said it doesn't matter now. So why are you doing all this, bro?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter now because now he has a whole new idea. He has a whole new idea of now he wants Cisco to make him a quantum splicer because Barry, since Iris didn't die, Barry is not going to become Savitar, and there is a delay for his non-existence to catch up with him.
Mm-hmm.
So he was fighting against the clock. So now his new plan is he needed Cisco to make him a quantum splicer because apparently if they aim it at him and splice him into the speed force as a whole, I guess he'll just be ever existence or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. This is all stuff they made up. I
Yeah.
don't know anybody that did this. So
Yeah, that shit.
this is all stuff they made up just so now he just wants to be, now he just wants to be a god ever existing and all that sense. And he has to do it before his non-existent catches up with him. And man, I can't believe we skipped those. So regular Caitlyn became full Killer Frost now, even though she said she'd never be. She didn't have powers, but because, Flashpoint had to go ahead and flip that like an etch a sketch. Now she got powers. So the show was so wishy washy like that. So yeah, so now she's Killer Frost. That then Savitar randomly recruits her. But oh my god, I was so mad at this show. He recruits Killer Frost because he needed her help. Because he knew, brace yourself, people. He knew the Black Flash was gonna come after him. the Black Flash, which is supposed to be a speech to his Grim Reaper. Zoom being punished for manipulating the Speed Force. He's like the Speed Force's guard dog or their hound dog now. He's like the Speed Force's hellhound now. And he knew it was coming. And for some reason, he's like the one thing the Black Flash can't fight is extreme cold.
Okay. Because everything makes sense. It's plot convenient.
It totally makes sense. I could go into a big rant about how the Flash actually did destroy the Black Flash in the comic book. It's so absurd, but it's what he had to do, because since the Black Flash in the comic is actually he's literally the speedster Grim Reaper. He's not a previous speedster, all that stuff. And the only reason Barry even got rid of him was having the Black Flash follow him, and he literally ran to the end of everything. It's such a ridiculous feat. He ran to the end of everything, and if there's nothing, then of course there's no death, and the Black Flash just vanished. It was probably one of Barry's fastest moments ever. And you reduce that to now in this show is cold. Extreme cold can beat the Black Flash. Like, are you serious right now? Are you serious?
Sir, they tried to get it so it shows that she's still a good person, sir.
Nah, they could have found a bunch of ways to do that without sacrificing the Black Flash. So that's a big deal. That is a real big deal right there. So so that was why he recruited Killer Frost, because he needed her to take out the Black Flash for him. So, and I feel like I'm missing something with this storyline right here.
That was about it as far as that goes. I mean,
yeah. So basically, Cisco acts like he makes his quantum splicer. What he does is he actually opens the Speed Force to release Jay. That's what I was forgetting. Yeah, so Jay Garrick was in the Speed Force prison that Savitar was in, because apparently this trope that a speedster has to be in their Speed Force prison for some reason.
Yep.
So Jay Garrick volunteered to go in there because Wally. Oh man, how do we forget that? So quick rewind. Wally was exactly in his ever-growing stupidity. Actually, was the one that released Savitar. Savitar played the what's it called? The reverse psychology on him. He basically told him he's not fast enough to defeat him, and Wally thought like, I'm gonna get rid of this last shard of the Philosopher's Stone. I'm gonna throw it into the Speed Force where Savitar is.
Oh God.
So, and when he did that, when Savitar got free, Wally got sucked into the Speed Force prison. So for Barry to get Wally out, him and Jay Garrick went to get Wally, but then Jay took his place because a speedster has to be in his prison for some reason. Ask them why, because we don't know. But so fast forward to now. Cisco makes the quantum splicer. He shoots it at Savitar, and he tricked him because he made a Speed Force skeleton key to get Jay Garrick out. And Jay comes out, and like, I'm a total Jay Garrick fanboy. I'll go ahead and admit it. He's like one of the coolest remaining Golden Age heroes. Yeah. So he gets him a good shot on Savitar. He gets the helmet, puts the helmet back on with the swag and all that. And this was a pretty cool moment, even though it was so short you'd miss it. This moment right here, you had Kid Flash, and Jay Garrick versus Savitar. And they literally just chased him. They literally just chased the man through the woods. And he jumped in the air and shot a thunderbolt at him. And then for some reason, the Flash just came back. Jay and Wally could. I guess they ran out of money. So I don't know whether they was knocked out or they got tired or what, but this man shot a thunderbolt at them while they were chasing them, and they was on them too. Like he was about to get world star. They to call him.
They were all acid.
Yo, they was all you saw was Savitar and his white streak of lightning, and you just saw 3 orange streaks of lightning just on them. Y'all was like, get him, get him, get him. I'm like, y'all so close, get that fool. And then he had to jump in the air and shoot a thunderbolt to get him off his back. So now it was just Barry. I still don't know where the other 2 went, but okay. but it was lit though. It was like it was so short. But so yeah, so now we at the big final card. All this is just in 1 hour. This is all the last episode. And the big final confrontation. They made Saboteur seem extremely weak. I don't know because he was losing. Yeah, like because Barry. Now I think about it, as soon as Saboteur got his body back, Barry was kind of giving him the hands. He wasn't like a big threat to him anymore. He just couldn't capture him.
Yeah, notice that. I chalked that up to plot convenience because we changed the timeline so you aren't as powerful somehow, even though you're still the same. And resolve and all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, someone did bring this up. How does a faster version of Barry get hit by a bullet? Yeah.
There's a couple of determining factors there. He could have been losing his speed because his non-existence was catching him. He could have been desperate, / embarrassed,
right,
and just wouldn't think that someone would shoot him square in his back. I'm mad they shot him like Ricky and Boys in the Hood.
Oh, damn.
They just straight shot him. He just spread his arms and fell forward.
Damn, my guy. Brutal. And then he passes away, but not before. Well, yeah, before. Where we get into what the 4th season is in part going to be about, because every speedster eventually comes to the end of his journey.
Yep.
Oh, I saw this and I was like, bruh.
Man. So to just sum this up, man. If I'm talking too much, go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, I'll do.
But yeah. So basically, just to finish up everything about this story, because they straight broke Jay Garrick out the Speed Force. The Speed Force didn't like that, so it started creating the Speed Force storm, and all these different colored thunderbolts were striking the city, probably creating speed.
Oh God, no! I do not want to see a flashback.
Probably, for real. Like, so they striking everybody. So they striking people's earthquake and all that, and they all figure out it's the Speed Force. Speed Force is very pissed right now, and I thought it was funny because Wally's been in the Speed Force prison. Jay Garrick's been in the Speed Force prison. And Jay looked at Barry like, I ain't going back. He looked at Barry like, I ain't going back, man.
Nah, fam.
And, for real. So basically it was Barry's turn. So they do this whole thing and you know what's funny? It's kind of very movie-esque to the point of things were getting too good because him and Iris are engaged. They sent out their wedding invites and all that, and then as soon as things were getting too good, something bad happened with this whole Speed Force storm. Right, exactly. So Barry comes to terms with the fact that all this was his fault. All this was his fault, and I'm laughing because not just what he did in the season, but it's like because there was such an influx of the memes of Barry messing with the timeline. Everybody know that this was his problem. So I just thought it was funny that he's him actually being reprimanded for this, and yeah, the Speed Force did just try to make it seem like he just transcended. He did everything he could. He reached his finish line. They basically, Lord help me, they basically did the Dragon Ball GT ending.
Bro, stop.
Bro, think about it.
Yep.
The Omega Shenron gets destroyed. Shenron say he taking the Dragon Balls away. It's been too much. and then Goku goes with them. Yo, like they destroy Saboteur, their biggest threat so far. Speed Force says, you've done too much. You've reached your edge.
Well, Goku didn't have to go to Shenron, so you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, that opens a
I
whole
understand
other.
the comparison though.
But yeah, but I mean, that's what I said. In essence, they kind of did. But
Yeah.
but yeah. So now I can't unsee it. I'm like, it's the GT ending in a way.
Well, season one's low key kind of bullshit like GT, so yeah.
It was. So I guess it works. I guess it works. So yeah, basically, so this is another moment. It seemed like they just, I mean, man, they just trying to take all the big Flash moments and just because, and just try to use them for the sake of hype in a way. So I mean, they literally set it up to where Harry is gonna stick around because Barry asked him, "You want to stick around?" Uh, Bruce was like, the world needs a Flash. Barry looks over at Wally, they have a Flash. And I was like, so they basically setting up for the passing of the torch the same season. The boy just got his powers, but okay. So
it's just like the Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, basically. So the same season he gets his powers, he's about to be the Flash in the next season. So, and basically that sums it up. Barry says goodbye to everybody, and this is the moment, everybody. This is the CW's version. They've done the Flashpoint. They've done Barry having to recreate, having to get his power. This is their take on when Barry left for X amount of time, and Wally became a Flash. This is it. So how long they do this will decide on how much they mess this up, because they're not going to do it as long as the comics did. In the comics, Barry was gone for years.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was gone for a hot minute. Hell yeah.
I mean, he was gone. Yo, to be honest, I think when we was growing up, Wally was the Flash.
Yeah, Wally was the Flash. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So Barry was actually before our time. Yo. So that just goes to show. So yeah, so it's like I didn't start becoming a big Barry fan until they brought him back.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is it. This is that moment right here where Barry leaves, becomes a part of the Speed Force, and Wally is taking over. Now, obviously, it's not permanent. I mean, if you want to just go behind the scenes real quick, I've been hearing that Grant signed a contract for 7 seasons.
Yo, 7 seasons of this show. Good God.
Yeah, so and he signed that up front, yo. I think he signed it all the way back on the first season.
Whoa, so yeah. Damn.
So yeah, so it's not gonna be permanent. He at best he might just be getting a break, but yeah.
Damn, you really think they're gonna go like a whole season without Grant or a whole half season without Grant?
They're not gonna make it whole half. I'm gonna say first 4, maybe 5 episodes with no Grant.
That's pretty ballsy. I will say that.
I gotta, the true test would be if you don't see him at all, because it'll be kind of a cop out if they go from Team Flash with their new Flash and then show what Barry is going through in the Speed Force.
That's what I was thinking they're gonna do, but they can't do that shit for an entire man. That'd be boring as hell if they show him what he's doing in the Speed Force this whole time. Like we've had so many Speed Force encounters already. Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm looking at the comments and everybody throwing
someone said it. Yeah, Edward Elric leaving at the end of Shambhala. Yeah, that's a perfect comparison because Edward left because the weapons that had crossed over into a Mestress were too dangerous and he had to destroy him, and it was his fault that they came over. So yeah, that's a good comparison.
So and that's literally this. The season ends with everybody teary-eyed because Barry is gone.
Now, a couple of things we got to address in that scene. People pointing out that one of those lightning bolts was the color of Godspeed.
Oh, I said it earlier. Some Godspeed was made during that moment.
And someone says the Speed Force Storm could have been metahumans with different powers too, but one of them is definitely Godspeed with a Jamaican accent. What's this Jamaican accent? Where's that come from?
Uh, beats me, man. To be honest, yo.
Damn. But yeah, that's the end of the entire season, y'all. I mean, it's gonna be interesting, and I'm actually more excited for season 4 than I was season 3, just to see where the strengths of this show lie, because we can get into some of the things we know about season 4. The main villain is not going to be another speedster, so that's
Yeah.
actually really good. But to be honest,
And I got a
I have
feeling that's gonna be Wally's villain. Yeah. I think
yeah.
whenever Barry comes back, it's gonna another speedster is gonna show. That might be the reason the Speed Force lets him go. I mean,
Godspeed for season 5.
probably. Oh man, we giving him too much credit. I'm thinking second half of season 4.
Oh come on, please no.
It it it, it all depends on how far they go. Why I got a feeling the non-speedster main villain is gonna be Wally's villain.
Man, that'd be depressing as all hell if they do that.
And I know people talking about because they made a reference to the Thinker.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, but Savitar already said, they made a neural inhibitor to beat him. So he already said how they can beat if they just remember what he said whenever he shows up.
But no NCW, they'll collectively forget it. Conveniently too.
Yeah, exactly. So and I just want to address something real quick. CW does not want to get lynched, so they will not add redhead Wally West.
Oh god, that would look
because
really
because
weird.
unfortunately, even though we all understand that there's two different Wally West from two different worlds, and one just so happens to be black, the other one happens to be white with red hair. Woke internet won't understand that.
Nope. No, they fucking will not, man. I mean,
They will not.
shit.
They really will. I would love for them to do it because I understand it, but they will not. So this one Wally West on this show is going to represent all Wally West.
Oh, and that's actually. I hope they do better with his character in the next season, especially if he's going to be the Flash, because
The
I
Flash.
just hope they don't go into this whole fucking generic ass "I'm not Barry" type thing. Like, I have to come to my own bullshit. Oh,
Yeah, exactly. It's just and change that suit. Change this. It's not working. Especially contradicting with him growing his little curly fro out, and like
yeah.
people could just recognize your hair. They literally just see your hair. So I don't know. Maybe they could keep the same color, but just give him a full mask like berries or something. I don't
Could
know.
be, could be. I just think they should change it because I think it looks cool in motion, but when you just look at it, just in general standing, it doesn't hold up like Barry suit.
They should have went with the silver one, man. Like
Yeah, silver
remember
would be cool.
me and you even predicted that okay, he's gonna have the yellow and red in Flashpoint, but maybe in the main world he probably had the silver one.
Right, right.
But no, for some reason.
Yeah. All right, so we can go through some of the comments here. Well, no,
Yeah,
no,
I'm,
no.
I'm,
One thing I
I'm
want to
looking
talk
for
about.
something.
What?
No, I was saying I was looking through the comments as well. But go ahead.
Yeah, there is one comment I want to get to, and I know you were like going crazy over this, so we'll talk about that in a second. But I do want to take some time to talk about Julian's character. And one thing I'm actually glad they didn't do is that I mean we all saw Julian being alchemy coming a mile away. Like the second they announced him and what he was all about, I was like, yeah, he's alchemy. But what I am glad is that they didn't do some bullshit where they waited until like the end of the season type shit, and they actually integrated his character into the show and him being part of Team Flash. I thought that was pretty cool, and I'd actually be sad if he goes away, man. No, he cool, he cool. I like Tom Felton.
He earned his spot, but I'm not even mad at that.
Yeah, so we'll see where that goes. And as far as Caitlyn and her character development, I thought that was pretty cool, and it is a consistent thing because it actually shows that for once someone doesn't want these powers, and they don't go through the whole these powers were here
for the greater good, like you can protect people. No, she just doesn't want them because she's afraid. So I thought that was a nice, interesting angle.
Yeah.
Um,
I do like, just to jump in on that. I do like how they had this thing of it not just being her powers, but it's like also unleashing, like, because all those little bits of herself that she had to pin away because all the heart feeling stuff. So it's almost like everything she pent up in herself manifested into this Killer Frost person.
Thought that was pretty cool. And we'll see where this goes in the future. Hopefully they keep it going. And yeah, I mean, like I said, the characters were all really good when they weren't dealing with stuff in the story. That's where they really suffered. But
Yeah.
some of the comments right here, someone says, let me see. Next season, I want that Future Flash suit. I'm telling you, yo, that suit was banging.
Yo, man, like that suit was and I'm like, notice, because remember I said on Facebook, not a single piece of plastic or metal was needed. It just looked cool.
Yep.
I liked the Future Berry period though. It was like, he had the longer hair. They made him actually taller for some reason.
Because we all go through puberty in our 30s.
Yeah, exactly. And I like that he was way more aggressive than the current Barry. Remember when he ran into the mirror after Mirror Master and then just flexed him out the window.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
The once in the
and he
future
had his own.
Flash.
Exactly. He had like his own little Batman voice going. His voice was deeper.
Yeah, the suit is really good. It's more vibrant. It's not as maroon. It's got more color to it. It definitely does look more like the comics, and it's just got more suffice to say, it's got more flash to it, man. And it just
Still, I mean,
it's
yeah,
very good. I mean, because the standalone Flash suit is okay, but this is just like whoa. Like they just went above and beyond with the design, man. It looked
I mean,
great.
a brighter red, some more yellow. Like, man, that suit, man, when he showed up, because at first I thought he was just gonna go suitless, because he was like,
Yeah.
like, give me the transponder, I'll give it to him. And then he took off. I thought, he was gonna go straight there. I didn't know he suited up too. And when he slid up here, I was like, yo.
Step up on the scene with the fresh clothes.
Like, for real, I'm like, that's the Flash right there.
Oh, Ezra Miller, man. You might want to take notes, my guy.
Yeah, I'm like, you see, I mean, he did it without looking like a Power Ranger. No shade, but
Oh god, I typed in Future Flash suit and that fucking thing just came up. He does look like he's part of the Power Rangers. Oh my god.
yeah, man. Like, oh, you looking at the Future Flash in the comics, the Blue Flash?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you can imagine them not doing Zoom how they did,
right,
you can see how it could work. But it's like a lot of the image effects was wasted on Zoom.
Yeah, it would be regurgitation. Like looking at this shit right now, yeah, it's too similar, man.
Yeah, it's like, I'm like, man, oh man, it would have been a crazy thing. Like, imagine you just had the head canon. Imagine there was a season of just a speedster that doesn't stop to talk. They can barely get a glimpse of him, and all he is literally just a, a out of focus figure, or just a flat out blue streak that's coming and just killing certain villains, for a reason why they don't even know. And like the real mystery is like you don't know anything about him. He doesn't stand still long enough to see him. That's a real mystery right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could have done so much more with that.
If only, man. If only. But yeah, it's yeah. Again, going back to like I said, some of the stuff from beforehand. It's like, yo, what you need to do going forward in the future is just pace yourselves on things, figure shit out before you jump the gun, And I think that's how this series can kind of redeem itself from the past two lukewarm seasons. Because the first season, I think, had a really good balance of things. They didn't go too crazy. I mean, they like you still remember this, the scene where they got into Harrison Wells's vault, the time chamber or whatever.
Dude. Dude, man. Oh my god.
That is how you do a fucking setup Easter egg, whatever you want to call it. That scene was glorious.
I'm telling you, man, it's like there's never been a more lit cutoff scene.
Yo, I'm telling you, fam.
Oh man, founding member. Them words are engraved in my brain.
Founding member, yo. So going forward, man. I mean, like I said, I'm actually more interested in season 4. Hopefully, they do take this constructive criticism and feedback to heart. And if not, then I don't know, because most shows kind of, if they're having this many problems really early on, they usually don't get better. So that's what I'm kind of worried about.
Yeah, unfortunately, they have a committed fan base. So now they've got such a strong fan base to the point of they can almost do no wrong. It's gonna be, unfortunately, it could be one of those shows where it could keep getting worse but keep getting the views, man.
Well, you know what the funny thing is? I actually looked at the ratings for The Flash. Yeah, they are still holding pretty strong. Arrow is taking fucking nosedives in ratings, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Let me look. Let me get this. These. Keep talking. I'm trying to see the episode.
Let me see right here.
Trying to see the episode ratings. Where is it?
Just to reply to I guess his name is 296. Yeah, Killer Frost, she does absorb people's heat of being a heat vampire, but eventually when she made her face turn to become a good hero, or to become a hero period, she realized that instead of draining all the heat from people, she just absorbed little bits of heat from people she meets every day. So that's how she got. Now, I don't know whether they went back to making her a villain or not, but I remember when she became a hero, that's how she got by. Like just casual things, like accidentally bumping into someone or sliding past someone and touching their wrist. She was like absorbing little bits of heat, and that's how she survived as a hero. So.
Damn. All right. So this fucking drop off. So season 1. I don't know if this is the premiere. Okay, so the premiere season 1. 4 million views, right? Premiere season 2, 2.7 million views.
Gee.
Premiere of season 3, 2.8 million views. Premiere of season 4, 2.6 million views. Get ready for this, and this is how you know they royally screwed things up. Premiere of season 5, 1.8 million views.
Yo.
Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse. All right. Season finale, going from season 1, 2.7 million views. Season 2, 2.3 million views. Season 3, 2.8. So, it's roughly around the same range. Season 4, 2.9, 2.1. Season 5, 1.7.
Yeah.
They
what?
fuck shit up royally.
By the time season 5 came, the damage was done. And it's sad because I'm sure you're gonna see a lot of people saying in the comments talking about Prometheus.
Yeah.
The Prometheus villain probably kept that season alive. He was like the only life point in that season. And that's not me saying that the season was great or anything. I'm just saying Prometheus kept it alive.
Right. Okay.
And that's basically it with that. So it's like so in a way they had the villain was driving. The villain had the keys to the season to where he was the one keeping whatever little interest there was. But people that left that didn't and are not coming back.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah. So it's like so you can see like every season was paying paying because of the fuckery of the season before. So every season, somebody probably kept saying, "I'm done." It didn't come back that next season.
Yo, look at Flash has actually really good viewer retention. Season 1 premiere 4.8, season 2 premiere 3.5, season 3 premiere 3.1. So that's not terrible drop-offs.
Yeah.
Yo, the series finale, these are low drop-off numbers. 3.8, 3.3, 3.04. That damn.
Bruh.
Yo, Flash, bro, I'm telling you, it's these fucking characters, like, shit.
Yeah, for real. Like, man.
I'm about to go look up Supergirl.
Supergirl.
I still can't get over when we watched that one scene, and I've seen you pissed, but I've never seen you just so done.
Yo, because I hit my breaking point with that whole teasing Superman thing, and it was like I couldn't. So y'all trying to say the Superman right here? These red boots on this table.
This show is a fucking joke.
Oh my god! And then they got the nerve to. They're kind of doing the same thing with Batman, but they're not going to get a Batman. You know, WB isn't going to let that happen. But they've had several Batman references in the show now.
Oh God. Damn. Well, Supergirl obviously had a major drop off because it went from CBS to CW. So you watched Supergirl season 2?
Yeah, I did. Unfortunately,
how was the production change? Because it went from a big network to CW.
Man, I'll be brutally honest. CW did that show way more favors. I almost wish they would have just started over completely, but they had to keep in tone with what the first season kind of already established. But they definitely they kicked up the action and it didn't really matter because of the gender. Like some action was straight action. It actually tripped me out that there was actually a fight in there that was like kind of reminds you of the final fight in Man of Steel. Obviously the quality wasn't that good, but like they were flying and the camera was like over her shoulder. She was like having like a mini DBZ fight. I was like, I can't believe they're actually doing
it. Okay. Yeah, damn, Gotham got that drop off. Fuck.
Oh my God. Burn that show needs to go. It's gotta go. Like that finale they just did, a vigilante 14-year-old Bruce Wayne. That gotta go.
Yo, speaking of other things that gotta go, I think it's time that we gotta go, my mans.
Yeah. I think we went ham enough.
Yo, facts. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was our long overdue. Well, I wouldn't say long overdue since we're actually really early for a Flash review, to be honest.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so thank you all for joining us on this journey. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. And yeah, we'll hopefully be back sooner rather than later, depending on how quickly I finish up this well, fuck it, I might as well just say it. I purchased Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale, and I'm going through the first 2 episodes right now. So y'all probably get a joint episode review, considering when does the next episode drop?
I want to say in like 3 weeks.
Oh, so they just dropped episode 2 not too long ago.
Yeah. The episode for this month is out already.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, I'll probably finish those 2 episodes up. If anything, we'll record something. Thinking it's either coming this week, or not this week, next week, or the week after that. I'll have to let y'all know. But signing off from this review from me and the homie Rottz112. Good night, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Y'all have a good one. Peace.
Peace.